Hi there. So I wanted to talk a little bit about starting your article. It's the most critical. In past classes, you may have had the experience where I literally did the entire project in front of you in bits and pieces through demonstration. But this is where we start asking you to start being critical observers. We're not going to be able to always do, exactly what the project is in front of you every time that we move through the project. And so this assumes that you've interacted with an article and you understand how they kind of function and different parts function differently. Like they have very different tables of contents. Go check out the table of contents of your magazine. But the opening article is, or the opening spread of your article is the most critical. And they do a couple of things that they don't do in the rest of the article. Number one, you'll notice that all of these have a sense of more openness than when you are in the rest of the article. There's a clear visual hierarchy through the title. Before I go on a rant, number one, never put your title across 2 pages of text. This is a gutter, and depending on how your book is produced, it could distort that R and make it very, very hard to read. So this is a terrible idea. And I actually put it here on that top left corner to make sure that I talked about it, because it is something that I see a lot of people do. But it is not a positive, thing. I actually think this whole thing where they go up and then over is bad. Number one, we read from top to bottom, so it's asking a lot of us as readers to go to a point that doesn't make sense for us. We enter the article in a very natural way here. We come through here and then we know to go down here and then through the article in a way that, we've been trained since, we started reading to engage with the information. So make sure that you are never running a title across 2 pages. It's like chalk on fingernails on a chalkboard for me. But you can see that these all function very differently. Like this has like very chunked out like sections with really heavy indicating or indicated areas of more importance. They have an initial cap. A lot of these have initial caps. The title's very clear. They're a little bit more generous in space. You'll see open space in these front covers. You often see a big photograph here, and then you start the article, not at the top of the page, but somewhere down below. Is the name of the author in there? All those things need to be seen to. But you can see as I scroll down through these that they have really different, tendencies. Like this comes into the photograph, which, I kind of enjoy how that's kind of making the information feel interconnected to the image, and how they've kind of blocked that. I love how she's interacting with the article. They're playing with the text to talk about how you might, play off the idea of double. Some of them have dark backgrounds because, it works with the way that the topic, should be considered, or, that it has like a darker like impression. Their font choices here, the little indicators, something that is more about furniture, this has got this very sleek, sophisticated kind of approach that kind of flows us through nicely. There's the idea of identity theft, and this is the idea that children are the new targets for that. So having her be the thing that you think of kind of gives us a clue of what that article is. Something that's about, something that's a technology advancement. There's certainly the idea of using color to kind of make sure that that you're entering. I loved the way they interacted with this photograph and the cropping. But the other thing as you move through your article is you need to make sure that there is some continuity in the way that you're laying it out. You can see that this is, pretty uncommon in an article. They're kind of highlighting what that image is about in this smaller column. That type is below 9 point. So those are descriptors which often don't fall within the norm of the 9-point type. Something like this had to be smaller type because it wouldn't make sense for any other way. Make sure that you're doing 9-point type. Make sure if you have something that needs to be pulled out, like titles in the article, that you're doing that. Make sure that you review what magazines look like in other formats and how other people have approached this. This is one of the things that you're going to want to do as a designer, is really use the entire environment that you exist in as a way to learn more about your profession. One of the things that's really great is that we walk around in an environment every day that shows us something unique about our profession. You probably involved yourself in over 50 things that graphic designers touched in the first couple of hours of just being awake. The apps, the books you might read, the website you went to, the TV interface that you were involved in, the postcard that you might have looked at on your way out of the house, the label on your clothing, all the logos on the bottoms of your shoes. All those things are touched by our profession, and so we're constantly able to just walk around and absorb what other designers have done, so that we can find our niche, our different opinion on how to approach a design. So I encourage you to spend quite a bit of time when you're looking for your magazine at other magazines, and think about what might be interesting and how you might be inspired by something, and do it in a unique way. We never want to mimic what somebody else has done, with the exception of the standards of that cover. That's the very rare time that I'm going to ask you to look at what was done on an existing piece of design, and think about how you need to mimic that. All right, thank you. Bye.